Good morning. I'm going to be, quickly discussing Chapter 5, just kind of some issues that come up with Chapter 5. Um, Someone just waved at me. First of all, personal journals. Students write about events in their own lives and topics of special interest to develop writing fluency. Dialogue journals, where students correspond with the teacher about events in their own lives and school experiences, and teachers read and respond as interested readers to continue the written conversation. Reading logs, students think more deeply about books they're reading and respond by writing and drawing entries. Double entry journals, students divide each page into two columns. They record quotes or other information in the left column and their responses to them in the right. These are really effective and very easy to use. The ones that are difficult, I think, are the dialogue journals. To do that well, it really has to be one-on-one, and it commands a tremendous amount of the teacher's time. And reading logs are fairly simple. If the students are reading very often, writing about what they're reading is a good way for them to continue to practice those writing skills in a real writing situation, unlike the handwriting books where they copy a paragraph and they have to make it look pretty. These are actual creative writing from their personal experience. Okay. Of course, some of the things that we want to develop from lots and lots of writing is automaticity. Automaticity comes to us from reading. It means identifying as many words as possible on sight, and it's also true in writing, because we want them to be able to write a large number of the words that they use in their everyday conversation, and most specifically in their writing. We want them to be able to write those automatically. Speed and legibility, these things could be related in part to how the writing is happening. If the children are doing most of their writing as keyboarding, then legibility is not something that we have to be concerned about, of course, because it doesn't have anything to do with their personal handwriting. Speed would certainly be a higher thing in that case, because if they're typing very slowly, it would take them more time to type it than it would to write it in longhand. So it's necessary for us to take a look at these things and sort of consider, are we going to do it by keyboarding and then teach them how to keyboard, or are we going to do this in longhand and teach them handwriting legibility? And there's topic on handwriting. Let me just first of all ask, if the Declaration of Independence had been written in your handwriting, how nice would it look? If I were to do it, I did study calligraphy, and that to me would be a very laborious and painstaking thing to do. And how often in real life do people ask us, please write legibly? It says print or type. They don't want to see your handwriting. In fact, in most cases, handwriting is a dead art. It's more of an art form than a necessary writing skill. So we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we're going to teach our students to do in writing? Are we going to teach them how to have really excellent handwriting, or are we going to teach them how to keyboard, which is really the skill of the future? And if that's the case, then these independent writing skills that we're talking about, these skills that are strengthened and deepened by actual writing, our focus is going to have to be different if they're typing compared to if they're writing things out in longhand. Another thing that is, and incidentally, you can read about all of these kinds of writing and these specific writing skills in the chapter. I know you can read that. I just wanted to talk about some of those topics. And another thing that is a topic worthy of discussion is, in your chapter, they talk about letter writing. And this, too, might be considered a dead art. In most cases today, if we're trying to communicate with someone, we will generally do that by email or text message, not by a friendly letter. If we're writing an official letter to a company, more often than not, that will be something that is submitted on a web page. For example, when I write a letter to my congressman, I don't sit down and write a business letter. I go to their web page and there's a place where comments can be entered. So the question is this a thing that we need to teach? And if we do, at what grade level is it important to teach it? If it's in your English language textbook, you probably feel like it's necessary to do it. But I just, would ask, from the standpoint of controversy, first of all, if they never learned to do it in school, would they have trouble learning to do it when they need to? And secondly, if they never learned it in school, is there a large possibility that they won't ever need to learn to do it in actual real life? I don't know when was the last time I wrote a real business letter, or how long it's been since I sat down and wrote a friendly letter in that kind of format. I do think, however, that pen pals, especially electronic pen pals, with students in another school is an extremely good activity, an extremely good way for students to be doing a lot of writing, for them to be expressing their personal points of view in writing real often, and to be able to interact with someone else that they have never really met and get to know them in this sort of non-threatening and very literacy-promoting sort of way. So that's my video lecture for today. Look for the assignment on email. Another video lecture tomorrow.